Good morning. It is early o'clock and it's time for a guitar safari. Like all good guitar safaris, it started around a bonfire and we may have made some shady business agreements. We are driving to a little place called King, North Carolina. I have no idea where that is. To pick up a really cool old Vox amp. Yeah, let's do it. Is it a good amp? No, it is not. Is it fun? Probably not. Does it look good? Yes, it looks very good. So what is a guitar safari? The proper way to do it is physically at like a church yard sale. I found a $50 Super Reverb there 6 months ago. Did it work? No. Did it have the original speakers? Yes, but a child had cut them. That's what you want to do. However, what I have found to be as a really good tactic is going on Marketplace, but then meeting the friends of the person selling the item. The guys that don't even have a Facebook. Those are who you want. When they say it works, or works perfectly, big red flag. When it says perfectly, that means everything's gonna be bad. This Vox amp, he says it works. I trust him a little bit more. All right, first thing you do when you're about to make a financially reckless decision, get gas. Now about the amp that we've bought. It's a 1968 Vox Kensington bass amp. The good parts about this amp. One, the guy says it works. I like a car that runs. Two, it has a very rare gold Jensen 15-inch speaker inside that came factory, and people pull them out of these little amps and throw them in bigger things, but they always get blown out. This one, from the pictures, looks fantastic. The speaker is worth twice what I've paid for the amp. Now on to the bad parts about the Vox Kensington. What we've bought is 22 watts. Is it a tube amp? No, it's a solid state. It's a 22 watt solid state amp. And they were praised because of how clean they could be at lower wattages. Issues with solid state amps. Yes. In the past 5 or 10 years, they've become more sought after because they genuinely can sound good. This amp was used by Paul McCartney in the 60s in Abbey, I don't know if it's Abbey Road, but in the studio. And now, as part of the ritual, we must get the cheapest coffee, the worst coffee you can find. As you can maybe tell from how I explained how a guitar safari works earlier, there's a lot of tradition and ritual that go into it. A friend brings alcohol, usually there's a bonfire, usually you make a shady business deal with a man named Greg. Bad coffee, it should be in a place that's far away. Somewhere you've never been, because it's an adventure. If you went in town, you just went across town. I'm not one to film anything when I get to someone's house, because I think that's kind of disrespectful to just walk into their house with a camera and say, "Can I film you?" So I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is show you guys afterwards what we've ended up with. Alright, I've stopped at a Sheetz to show you what we've done. Here she is. And it gets better. It's in better shape than I thought it was. And it's a really rare variant. I'll explain more in the car. Now that we're on the road and I don't look like a crazy man outside of Sheets trying to tell you guys more about that amp, let me explain what we got, what I got. The amp in the back of the car is way more rare than we thought. It's extremely rare. They made a 50 watt version from late 67 or early 68 into 1969. But the important thing is that 50 watt one back there is the one that McCartney used. Not that literal one, but that exact model was used on Sgt. Pepper's, like a prototype version, because they were constantly making whatever the Beatles wanted after they, exploded in an amp called a Super Beatle, the series, because they had base models too. This was built off of the prototype spec for what McCartney needed after they retired touring in '66. It's really, really clean. It's dirty. I mean, clean as in I wipe it down and it looks pretty much brand new. With the exception of the grill cloth, it was like a new amp that's from 1968. It is a very loud 50 watts for a solid state. I will give it that. It sounded really good with guitar, I'm not going to lie. It might be a really good pedal platform, sort of along the lines of a jazz chorus. I know it would sound great with pedal steel because it's so clear and clean with that humongous Jensen 15-inch speaker. The guy told me what he paid for it originally. He said a buddy of his traded a stack of Dr. Seuss books for that amp. These deals are out there. It's rare they're on Marketplace, but they are out there. I'm gonna drive back. You might get another time lapse, and I'll show you what it sounds like when we get home. And we're back. Long day, lots of driving, but I'm gonna go clean it up and we're gonna listen to it really quick. The setup is going to be a Shure Beta 52, and I'm gonna mic that probably right on the side of the speaker, right up against the grill cloth, and then I'll be using a Squier FSR P-Bass with quarter pounder, Seymour Duncans, and flat wounds. So yeah, let's try it out.